I've got to leave the room.
Let's all chime in.
Me too.
No, we're gonna get sick.
We're going.
What if I told you that you could go on a road trip? What are the first images that go through your head? Is it the luxury of sitting in a car, eating chips, cookies, and other junk food? Or is it stopping by a restaurant, getting a big, fat, juicy cheeseburger, large fry, and a fountain drink with extra ice, of course? Well, today in my speech, I'm gonna make sure that when you stop and get that cheeseburger, fries, and the drink with extra ice, that you're gonna be thinking twice. Today I'm gonna give you a big scoop of of information on dirty ice. Then we'll take a drink break at some restaurants. Then finally, I'll flush down your concerns by giving you some information on some clean ice. Ice found in some restaurants contain more bacteria than toilet water. Some problem solvers took ice samples from 5 different restaurants to Eatery Science Lab to be tested. Local 6 News collected 5 samples as well at a McDonald's restaurant in Eagle. A hidden camera caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a filthy nozzle on an ice dispenser. In most common fast food restaurants, there are no automatic ice dispensers, just employees with a scoop. Local 6 News turned over the samples from the restaurant to a different lab called Flowers Chemical Laboratory for testing. They tested for total chloroform. Total chloroform is associated with man. So if they test for these organisms, because if they found it, then that means they found the presence of man. This is something you can't see, smell, or you can't taste. It is a common misperception that bacteria can't grow on ice because ice is so cold. But bacteria can grow on ice. It can lay on the ice and infect you later. And that's why there are some standards to control the level of bacteria that's acceptable. Lab results showed that 4 out of 5 samples taken at the restaurants turned out to be clean ice. However, that one ice that was not clean showed a high levels of bacteria. An ice sample taken at the Arby's restaurant on Overland Road in Boise, they found 7 colonies instead of just 1 that is okay to have. They found the manager at the Arby's restaurant would not talk to the local 6 News about the results of the Arby's restaurant. And the Arby's restaurant does not have an ice dispenser. When you use the scoop, there's a chance that somebody is sick, and when they use that scoop, now they're going to be present and it could potentially get you sick. With the national experiment by 12-year-old Jasmine Roberts in Tampa Bay, Florida, compared levels of bacteria in toilet water and ice machines of 5 different fast food restaurants. The toilet toilet water contained less bacteria by 70% of the time. For the samples, she flushed each toilet and then scooped up some water with a sterile beaker. For the ice samples from the machines inside the restaurant, as well as from when she went through drive-thru and ordered ice through the window. The samples were tested, and yes, toilet water contained less bacteria than the ice. Now that I've scooped up some information, let's take some drink breaks at some restaurants that has been visited, but we'll just name a few in the area. Burger King, Taco Bell, Arby's, Wendy's, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Denny's, Dairy Queen's, and KFC. Sorry, I cannot disclose the name of their location. All these restaurants were tested and had high levels of bacteria. Now that I've flushed down your concerns, let me give you some information on clean ice and on some restaurants that are low on bacteria. some restaurants like Red Robin, Sonic, Chapala's, El Tenampa, TGI Fridays, and Wingers. These restaurants have been tested, and they were tested with low bacteria, so it's okay to visit those once in a while. But when you go to a restaurant, let's make sure you look for an automatic ice dispenser or just stick with the bottled waters or the bottled beverages. So the next time you go on a road trip and you want to eat junk food and stop and get your big greasy cheeseburger and fries, let's make sure instead of grabbing this extra ice, let's stick with the bottle.